Welcome to Notebook Nuggets. There are those books that promise to shift your entire perspective. And The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod, it's definitely one of them.
Well, absolutely. It's really struck a chord, hasn't it?
It really has. So many people looking to, grab those early hours and just set themselves up for a better day.
And what's compelling, I think, isn't just the wake up early part. It's the intentionality he brings. He's laid out these 6 sort of key practices.
The savers.
Exactly, the savers. And understanding those is really what we're going to dig into today.
Right. Silence, affirmations, visualization, exercise, reading, and scribing. So our mission here is to unpack each one, see how they fit together, how they can, build that positive momentum.
Like giving yourself a head start, basically.
Yeah, a deliberate advantage for the life you want.
And it's worth remembering, he developed this stuff when things were tough for him. Financial crisis, health scares.
Right, so it's not just theory. It came from real life, from rebuilding.
Precisely. It's tested.
Okay, so let's dive in. The first S, silence. What's the main idea there?
Well, the core benefit really is dialing down stress, creating some mental clarity right at the start.
Which is hard when you wake up and immediately, check your phone, right?
Yeah.
The emails, the news.
Exactly. It's that immediate bombardment. Silence is the opposite. It's about choosing a bit of calm, purposeful quiet.
He talks about doing the opposite of what most people do, starting with stillness instead of, that frantic rush.
Yeah, it's a conscious choice. Creates a different foundation for the day.
Okay, makes sense. So next up, A for affirmations. What's the thinking behind this one?
Affirmations.
Yeah.
Well, the idea is you're actively programming your mind. You state who you want to be, what you want to achieve, how you'll do it.
So you're kind of telling yourself a new story, building confidence.
Exactly. And the key is repetition, doing it consistently. Elrod sort of compares it to adjusting a thermostat for your life.
A thermostat. How so?
Well, you're setting your internal standard higher, right? You repeat these things, you start to believe them subconsciously, and that belief drives you to act differently, to match that higher setting.
Okay, I get that. And he uses some powerful examples, doesn't he? Like Muhammad Ali.
Oh, yeah. Ali's "I am the greatest." It wasn't just talk, it was deep belief. And Scott Adams, the Dilbert creator.
Right. What was his?
Something like, "I, Scott Adams, will be a successful cartoonist." Apparently, he wrote it down again and again.
And he credits that with keeping him going for, a decade?
Yeah, that persistent belief, pushing him through all the hard work. It really shows how affirmations can fuel that long-term motivation. They raise your standards and push you to act.
Wow. Okay, so that's affirmations. Let's move to V's visualization. This isn't just daydreaming, is it?
No, not at all. It's much more deliberate. It's about creating these really vivid mental pictures of what you want, seeing yourself doing the actions, achieving the outcomes.
Like mental rehearsal.
Exactly like mental rehearsal. You're picturing success, feeling it. It taps into neuroplasticity. Your brain actually starts wiring itself for that success just by visualizing it.
He mentions athletes use this all the time.
They do, to perfect their technique, to build confidence before a game, but we can use it for everyday stuff too.
Like visualizing a difficult meeting going well, or finishing a big project.
Precisely. You mentally walk through it successfully. It makes the actual task feel, less daunting, more achievable. You've already done it in your head.
It's wild that some studies show visualizing practice can lead to physical improvements, almost like actual practice.
It is wild, isn't it? Shows that powerful mind-body connection. Elrod apparently visualized himself writing this book, feeling the ease, creativity.
So he practiced what he preached.
Seems like it. Mentally experiencing the positive result beforehand.
Okay, silence, affirmations, visualization.
Got it.
Now, E for exercise. We all know exercise is good, but what's the specific morning advantage here?
The key thing for the morning is the immediate boost. Energy, yes, but also mental clarity. Big time.
How does that work?
Well, getting your heart rate up releases brain chemicals, right? Dopamine, norepinephrine. These things sharpen your focus, improve your attention. Even just a few minutes can make a difference.
He gives that example of the high school. Naperville, was it?
Yeah, Naperville, Illinois. They had mandatory morning aerobics, and the results were pretty stunning.
Better focus, better behavior, even higher grades, like a whole grade point.
That's what the book says, yeah. A full grade level increase. It really highlights that link between moving your body and waking up your brain.
Like Plato said, right? Body and mind together.
Exactly. Sound mind, sound body. A quick burst of exercise can really set you up for a more focused day.
All right, moving on to our reading. Something I always mean to do more of. What's the focus here?
The focus is on targeted learning. Books are just packed with curated knowledge, aren't they?
Yeah, expert advice in one place.
Right. Elrod calls it finding nuggets of wisdom, stuff that can fast track your growth in whatever area you care about: business, mindfulness, relationships, whatever.
Like reading Lean Startup if you're building a business, or waking up for mindfulness.
Well,
Makes sense.
and you don't have to read cover to cover necessarily. He suggests skimming, looking for those key insights you can apply now.
So strategic. Learning from people who've already figured things out.
Exactly. Why reinvent the wheel? And that point about just 10 pages a day.
Yeah, that stuck with me too. It sounds so manageable.
It does. But it adds up. Over a year, that's potentially what, 18 personal development books? Imagine the cumulative impact of that.
That's a lot of new ideas coming in.
A huge amount. It's a powerful engine for growth.
Okay, last one. The second is scribing. What does that mean? Just writing.
Basically, yeah, writing stuff down. But specifically, writing down the ideas and insights you're collecting from reading, from thinking, and then brainstorming how to actually use them.
So it's about making it actionable, not just letting good ideas float away.
Precisely. You know how quickly those mental notes fade? Ralph Smith had a quote about that, apparently. Scribing makes it concrete.
So if I read about, say, a negotiation tactic.
They scribe about how you could actually use that tactic in a specific situation coming up. It makes you much more likely to remember and do it.
Okay. And journaling fits in here too, like gratitude or goals.
Absolutely. Writing down goals, what you're grateful for, commitments. It brings clarity, reinforces what's important, helps you track progress. It's a space for reflection.
So that's S.A.V.E.R.S. Silence, affirmations, visualization, exercise, reading, scribing. Quite a framework.
It really is. But the book also touches on some underlying ideas, right? The principles behind the habits.
Yeah, like that Jim Rohn quote. Your success rarely exceeds your personal development.
That's a big one. The idea that working on yourself is the foundation. You have to grow to achieve more.
Makes total sense. You can't expect different results without changing yourself first.
And another key one is taking total responsibility. Elrod really emphasizes this. That's where your power lies. No blaming circumstances.
Which connects to seeing your current situation, even if it's tough, as temporary, as a chance to learn.
Exactly. Viewing challenges as learning opportunities completely changes your perspective, doesn't it? It empowers you.
It really does.
And then there's the power of small changes, that ripple effect. Doing something positive in the morning can influence your whole day.
Like setting that first domino. One good habit leads to more good choices.
Pretty much. And ultimately, it all comes down to habits. Controlling your habits is how you transform your life, because your life is basically the sum of your habits.
He also mentions those phases of forming a new habit. Unbearable, uncomfortable, unstoppable.
Right. The first bit, maybe 10 days, feels really hard, unbearable. Then it gets a bit easier, but still requires effort, uncomfortable.
And then eventually,
maybe around 30 days for simpler things, it clicks, it becomes more automatic, part of who you are. Unstoppable.
the persistence pays off.
Absolutely. You just have to push through those early phases.
Okay, so wrapping this up, the Miracle Morning, the S.A.V.E.R.S framework, it really gives you a practical toolkit, doesn't it?
Yeah.
For intentionally designing your mornings.
It really does. Dedicating that time, even a little bit, to silence, affirmations, visualization, exercise, reading, scribing. You're actively building the mindset and habits you need.
Building towards your goals, creating a more, fulfilling life.
It definitely makes you think, which of these savers could I start with? What would make the biggest difference for me right now?
That's a good question to ponder. Maybe start small with just one.
Could be the way. And that brings us to maybe a final thought for everyone listening. What's one small tweak you could make to your morning? Just one thing that might create the biggest positive ripple effect across your whole day.
That's definitely something to think about. A powerful question to leave with.
It is.
Well, this has been a great deep dive. If you found this exploration of the Miracle Morning useful, please do like this, leave a comment, maybe share it with someone you think could benefit.
And definitely subscribe for more notebook nuggets. We'll keep digging into these powerful ideas.